trigger, it's semi-auto. The bottom portion, it's full auto. So there's a lot of stories. There is a scope that they had near the end of the war that you could actually put on the 34 and you could snipe with it.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Good.
1200. We played with it. We used them. We used them on primary national.
Also, I want to find out where we're at. Everything else is at. Like a whole cooler left.
That part goes around in my car.
Yeah, it's only right here.
We have to hide.
But it even goes as far as this, which is something you definitely don't Totally separate and independent ignition systems. Two spark plugs are occasionally you see that on cars and airplanes.
Actually in here? Where to keep the bombs.
And messages to the front. They would often rescue downed pilots and pretty much any other task that could be accomplished only in the light single-engine aircraft. Now these aircraft typically are covered in fabric with steel tube fuselages. Sometimes there's an aluminum structure in the wing. Sometimes it's wood. But these aircraft were built by Stinson, Piper, Aeronca, Interstate, Cessna, de Havilland, and any other manufacturer that was producing aircraft before December 7th, 1941. They got drafted. Now let's listen. You can hear the sound of Elbert Thunder. As Placid Lassie heads out, he was promoted to lieutenant colonel and awarded the Bronze Star, the Air Medal with Oak Leaf Cluster, and the Silver Star with... Can't say I blame him. It looks like a great way to go flying. All right, coming up next, our PTs. If you ever get the opportunity, by all means, you should do it. Doesn't matter if it's one of these L-Birds or a PT-26 or a Stearman or any kind of high-powered fighter plane or maybe a carrier-based Navy airplane. You get the opportunity to go for a flight, you should definitely do it. It is really an eye-opening experience. 26. Second behind him is Tim Trimble. Christian Kapler is out there. And last but certainly not least, Dick Smith in the stomp. Ranger engine, about 200 horsepower. It is inverted because, well, the engine's upside down. The cylinders hang low in the airplane. It's got a wooden wing, a steel tube fuselage, and the center section of that wing, I've seen them taken apart. It is a jigsaw puzzle. It really is. It's very difficult and very time-consuming to restore a center section in these aircraft. Here comes another PT-26. These aircraft are one of the things you're going to get to see later on today is FIFI in flight here. And I want you to notice one interesting detail about FIFI. She's got long, skinny wings. This airplane is optimized for high altitude, long distance flight. And here she comes. Placid Lassie behind us, our air boss calling them in. Okay, you're going to see 3 passes. Okay, I'm sure the jump master is looking out the back door and he's thinking, well, we're going to kick these things out any minute now. Where does it look good for us to drop the WDIs? There they are! Okay, you can see 2 yellow streaks, and they look good against this beautiful blue sky here over Reading. The wind drift indicators are away. Now they're going to take their time coming down. Now everybody in the airplane is watching them, everybody on the ground is watching them, and we are watching them too. See, the thing is, if you think the winds on the ground are up, as you go higher, they pick up even more speed. So what we have on the ground is probably less than what they have up there. But without the wind drift indicators here, you don't know. As you can see, the wind drift indicators are indicating there's pretty good wind blowing out there. If they would have jumped on that run, they'd be significantly off target. And that would expose them to unnecessary risk, possibly even an attack by the enemy. Okay, one's down, here comes the second one. Doink! 2. Aerial demonstration team on the jump run. Well, you can see they're making corrections on the airplane. They're getting her out a little further. All right, I want you to count along. Keep your eyes on Placid Lassie. We're going to see 7 jumpers, 7 paratroopers coming out of this airplane. They're still making corrections. Must be a little bumpier up there than we figured. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there's number 7. Lucky number 7. Now, one thing that you need to know, as they get closer to us, they can hear you. That's it, I want you to raise the roof. Our jumpers are Michaela Cersaluti, Andrew Christopher, Jorge Robeldo, Mario Silva, Armando Zepeda, Gene Krupa, and Travis Millhouse. As you can see, the winds are definitely up. They've spread out pretty good. We've got one landed. Now, on a day like today, with the winds being up a little bit, the key is to get that parachute grounded and empty as fast as you can. Otherwise, you can be dragged across your landing zone, which is not cool. Some kind of separation distance between all of us here on the ground and their airplane. Now, fortunately today, the wind is blowing away from the crowd. That helps, but you can watch. Placid Lassie is making adjustments there. You can see the wings wiggling a little bit, so they're making some course corrections. And in just a moment, they're gonna cut loose. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've got 7 jumpers here. We've got Doug Jessup, Tom Sadowski, Mark LaRoche, Jake Studelmeyer, Jason Romero, and the jump master, Keith Harriet. Thing you have to realize, these are not sport parachutes. They have very limited steering capabilities. And they're all on the ground. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a big round of applause for the World War II. These airplanes are old, they're expensive to maintain and fly, and it is a testament to the men and women of many, many organizations across the world that help to keep these airplanes airworthy and in the sky. People like the commemorative visibility over the nose of these aircraft. So they got to do little zigzags to make sure that they're on the runway where they need to be and that they don't hit anything that could prove expensive. I was looking at this airplane the other day. The left engine is idling Ida, and the other one there has a name on it too, I just forgot it. Oh, jeez. Fast Eddie, note to self, write this stuff down. I've been reminded the right engine is called Eager Eileen. Okay, well, we'll take that. thing for sure. When an AT-6 or an SNJ takes off, it is unmistakable, the sound of the airplane. That deep-throated rumble you hear after the airplane goes by, that's the engine. It's a Pratt. Jersey Jerks would like to dedicate their missing man formation to the memory of Doris Dinest, who was a longtime supporter here at World War II weekend, and also to fellow air show announcer Howdy McCann, personal friend of myself and also Air Boss Greg Whitmer. I imagine it's going to be a little toasty in there. He called down yesterday, said it was 130 degrees. That's just going to be a little warmer today. Here's an airplane a lot of you out there love. This is the FG-1D Corsair. Stand music at the controls. But he's not flying just yet. He's going to get into position, and then he's also a captain for American Airlines and has flown the A300 Airbus, the Boeing 767, 757, 727, the MD-80, and a Fokker 5. He has since retired from the airlines back in 2004.
Cold water. Ice cold water, $3, 2 for $5.
I believe that what's going to happen here is that when Kevin takes a break from his aerobatic routine, he's going to give us a call on the radio. He's going to talk to you live from the cockpit of this SNJ that he's flying. Coming in from the left, keep your eyes on the airplane. If he's going to do what I think he's going to do, there's the pull. There's one. There's two. There's three. And there's four. 4-point hesitation roll. It's going to pull up just a little bit. There's the pull. Wait. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Point hesitation roll. Now wondering, why is Kevin doing all these point rolls? Because what that does is it demonstrates and teaches coordination of the controls, specifically how to use that blasted rudder in the back. There are a lot of pilots out there who argue with the rudder. And here we have Kevin Rousseau showing us that you and the rudder can be friends. Coming around from the right, here he comes again. On the stick. Now you'll notice that he is not doing some of the extreme maneuvers that you see modern aerobatic aircraft do. That's because this airplane is not designed, nor was it ever stressed for those style of maneuvers. If you were to try to do a modern aerobatic routine with this aircraft, you would indeed break the airframe. That would be a very bad day. So the idea here is to keep the simple maneuvers. Plus, these maneuvers that he's demonstrating are also used to get onto the tail of the enemy or to get him off your tail. Basic. How's that for a sound rumbling off into the distance? It's an FG1 because Goodyear built it. Yeah, that's right, the tire people. During World War II, all kinds of industry.
Stan, how are you doing today?
Hey Stan, I'm doing good. How you doing?
Just used to come in here doing about 280 miles an hour. It's just fantastic. And boy, there's no loop for you. I'm going to try to give you a few things today and make you look up here and wish you were there.
Well, Stan, that doesn't take much. I wish I was you right now.
That's what I tell my sister. Every man wants to be me and every girl wants to be with me. Unfortunately, only my sister acts like she cares. Okay, coming out of the bottom of the list, we're going to start off to do a half emergency today. And I know you've told everybody all about it in the lead up to all of this, but it was a great fighting machine of World War II. I want to especially identify our guys that are doing the Marine reenactors. The Marines love the Corsair for a variety of reasons, for a variety of years. The Marines and the Corsair went together like peanut butter and jelly. So we got a little 4-point rodeo during your routine. And so we started doing that a couple of years ago, and he nags me at it all the time to try to make sure that I will absolutely talk on the radio. So I hope everybody enjoys it. But if not, as my mother used to say, I started talking and I can't shut up.
Stan, it sounds great. How's that engine running?
Oh, it's smooth as stuff today. We're keeping an eye on all 18 cylinders, 36 spark plugs, trying to make sure everything plays together the way it's supposed to. That's one of the things our fabulous maintenance shop at the Air Base Georgia did. Put in a multi-pro BTC THC monitor, which allows power. We're not even having to push up to any kind of significant power like takeoff power, and we can make the airplane really stream along nicely just doing that. Coming on in, going down the runway, is what we like to call the fast pass. We'll pull off a little power, come up, get slowed down, we'll get the gear down, the flaps down, and the tail hook down, all in the same little bit.
All right, Stan, we got paddles.
Direction and correction. If you ever got to see the movie Devotion, you got to see this airplane flying. It had movie paint. It was painted with 203, but it was still this airplane for the movie Devotion. If you get to see it, you can go see it in theaters. And we have a great deal of thanks we want to give to our volunteer staff that's here today. Not just the ones at the Atlantic Air Museum, which are a fabulous bunch of folks. Also, we want to thank our folks all the way from Georgia to be able to help with selling rides, doing things here.
So here's the Corsair. as you're looking at the main runway.
One of them looks stronger than the other, right, Mom?
Yeah. We got a few of them.
Wow. Kind of amazing they grabbed it. Good shot.
What's gonna happen? Hi, Mom. Come on,
You got tabs on where everybody is. Do you have tabs on where everybody is?
Ladies and gentlemen, as your cameras ready, courtesy of the Pacific Area Marine Cadre here at World War II weekend, here is our salute to all the veterans of World War II.
Is this the end?
The C-47. Here comes Hairless Joe. And now, Placid Lassie. Of course, you know what the most famous trolls. The airplane would carry it, and they are still being flown worldwide today. Now here's a piece of trivia for you. The wing on the DC-3 C-47 are look at that. Taking their place on the field, the Americans are arriving.
Half track. Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, to narrate our European battle recreation, here's Tim Kuntz.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Before you, we have a small German contingent. Imagine this is June, after D-Day. The Germans are pushing forward, trying to meet the American assault here. The Americans have a small recce unit, 2 half-tracks, M20 car, 2 M20s, and some infantry. The Germans have 2 tanks, so the American anti-armor that they carry are going to have to work extremely hard. The fighting was very tough after D-Day. We concentrated on D-Day, but the months after D-Day, getting through the Brocage was just absolutely hell for both the GIs and the Germans. Close-in fighting, it was measured by yards. So here you have the Germans trying to stem the mechanized American advance. You have 2 U.S. Army half-tracks. They carry the infantry. They're really not fighting vehicles per se. They carry the infantry with some protection. You have the M20s, which same thing. They're kind of a scoot and shoot. They go and get it. Now the Americans are coming forward. The German tanks are actually later tanks. They're, or should I say earlier tanks. They're Panzer Mark IIIs. One has a short 75 and one has a long 50. While they're decent for the hedgerows, for the main battle, they're the older armor the Germans were using because they simply didn't have enough. You know, you hear all about the famous Tiger and the Panther, but Tiger and the Panther were far outnumbered by the Sherman. And there are only 3 recorded American Sherman on Tiger battles. And one of them, the Tiger, was getting loaded onto a flat car. So that really wasn't quite fair for the Tiger. Things are heating up now. The Americans are advancing.
Take out that F for the tank. Stay on it.
You can see the American squads leapfrogging, trying to gain the advantage, trying to outflank. The thing with the tanks, when the tank is buttoned up, you really can't see. So they have to have the infantry protection. You get rid of the infantry protection, and those tanks are incredibly vulnerable.
Why would they bring down?
Make themselves a smaller target.
Ah. They're trying to be 10 dead.
How's your ice cream? Huge. Way too big for you.
Did they surrender?
Well, it looks like they have some German prisoners. It looks like well, we have a small group of Germans resisting to the last. I think the outcome is pretty clear with the American mechanized column that the Germans have met their match. The small anti-tank gun that the Germans are firing, that's a Pack 37. That is a 37 millimeter anti-tank gun. The Germans call it the door knocker. It was good in the early part of the war, but against the tougher tanks in the later part of the war, it was basically knocking on the door. That was about it. You got their attention. Well, it looks like the Germans have surrendered. Another American victory. They're going to push on to Paris.
And there goes number 1. Let's all think happy thoughts so she'll catch quickly. Come on, baby. There she goes. Number 1 is running. Yay! Now what's the first thing they look for when they get that engine running? Oil pressure. Very important. Engines are expensive and they don't live long without oil pressure.
What a good weekend. Well, I don't know.
Up until the 1950s, FIFI was acquired by the Commemorative Air Force in the early 1970s when a group of members found her at the U.S. Navy Proving Ground at China Lake, California, where she was being used as a missile target. Fortunately, nobody hit her. The airplane was rescued and restored and flew for over 30 years until 2006, when the chief pilot made the decision to ground her pending a complete power plant refit. The old engines just weren't getting it done. However, after the war, the Lockheed Constellation, the DC-7, used the Wright 3350, the same engine in the B-29, except these were later versions. They were more powerful, more reliable, and they ran cooler. Somebody thought Well, what happens if you take the power section of a Connie engine and marry it to the accessory drive of the B-29? What do you get? You get the Wright 3350-B-29, a very special engine. It runs cooler, generates more power, is more fuel efficient, and more importantly, more reliable. FIFI has them. The second flying B-29 in the world, Doc, also has them. From what I understand, it is a sweet engine. And in just a moment, you're going to hear the sound of 4 Wright 3350-B-29 engines, 3,350 cubic inches apiece, and in their best form, they were capable of generating 3,000 horsepower. They're running her up. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Here's FIFI on the takeoff roll. Now, the B-29s were used extensively. And then there was Boxcar. For the record, the Enola Gay is down at the Dulles branch of the Air and Space Museum. Boxcar, the second airplane, sits at the Air Force Museum, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio. The chase airplanes for Boxcar. The observation plane was the so much after December 7th that many of the recruiting offices had to stay open for more than 24 hours a day. People were joining up in force. They wanted to get back at the Japanese. There's FIFI there, safely back on the ground. And in just a moment, Mark Todd is going to take to the skies with the Bell P-63A King Cobra.